And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome. You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to Koi Plays Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a set of quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? So, Scorpio, welcome to 2026. This is going to be the first round of reads for this year. I'm already seeing a lot of good things for all the signs across the board. And with yours in particular, wrapping it out with my sets with water, yours being fixed water. Because everything is so new month, new week, new energy, new year, all that good stuff. The theme for this round of reads is going to be all Anew reads. This is identified by the aces across the board, representative of each element: water, earth, fire, and air, cups, pentacles, wands, and swords, respectively, each asking a different question about the new, right? New ideas, new investments, new opportunities, new emotional fulfillments, and new ways to spark up your drive. This then is capped out by the Fool at the end. How do we practically, or even with a little bit of illusion, who knows, get that journey started, right? So that's the theme today. As a preamble to the read, Scorpio, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times when it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, am not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I've got 12 signs to work with and none of the time to lie to any of them. Instead, we lay our cards out on the table. In good or bad, come rain or sunshine, we talk about it because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, yeah? So follow along with me in your read today, your all-new read for the year of 2026. And yeah, Scorpio, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here with your home element of water. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for the Scorpio Collective. Upon that Ace of Cups. Ooh, nice. Just didn't hit the table, so I don't take. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, upon the Ace of Cups in this read for Scorpio. Ace of Cups. Okay. Two of Swords. That's an interesting statement. Why? The Hermit. What are we trying to heal around? What are we trying? Okay. Got it. So it's not that you're that confused at all. It's that it's a reformation of identity. Here's why I'm saying that. Well, I just saw underneath your home element of water, Scorpio, where you thrive the best. Raw emotionality, raw, let's get to the point of how we really feel, right? We have the Two of Swords, which suggests this idea of indecisiveness or confusion. Interesting because we're starting out 2026 saying, I don't know. So that's why I was kind of hesitant about that because I didn't really believe that. And it showed me why. The Hermit card of Virgo, what does healing actually look like? And then we come into the Seven of Swords that suggests, upon the brakes, are we lying about the situation? Are we lying to ourselves? Right. So we're saying that we want new emotional fulfillment, especially in the realm of either deeper connections, and doesn't just have to be intimate or romantic. I'm saying authentic friendships, things like that. We want deeper connections, but are not being necessarily honest with ourselves about what that means for us. And because we're not defining that, we're just saying it's all up in the air, right? These things are contradicting. Like there are three cards that are fighting with each other almost right now because the Hermit coming out, that is the most self-assured. Well, not necessarily just self-assured. Let me put a pin in that because that's more the High Priestess. The Hermit is self-assured in the way that they already have the necessary skills and tools somewhere in their toolkit. They just got to go find it, right? Doesn't mean they have all the answers immediately, but they know they have done the deep internal work along the line somewhere. They can find it if necessary. And so that goes against the Two of Swords, the Seven of Swords, one of doubt and confusion, the other of having no answers at all, right? In other words, who's lying? Because it ain't the Hermit, right? He's too old and he ain't got the time. When we say that, now underneath that, all that conflicting energy underneath the Ace of Cups, I think already you know what this looks like. It just means saying some things you don't You may not feel proud, or this isn't the likable answer to say out loud. It does not change where you stand. Right. So I think that's a very interesting clash that you're having at the beginning, saying, oh, I want better friendships. I want better relationships. Well, cut out the old one. Right. Something's got to give. And I just find it very interesting that that's where we're opening with, in terms of like, how do we deepen these connections? What happens if they're just shallow? And it might have shown you everything that you need to see, or shown you everything that I could. Why then can we not let it go? I think that might be a better starting point. Next to your Ace of Pentacles, show us the cards that we need to see, please. Ace of Pentacles for Scorpio on their read. Into solid new opportunities, we see Nine of Cups. Okay, trying to find your actual fulfillment here and now. In what way? Six of Pentacles, an everyday investment, what that can turn out to. Okay, good. So I think we're a little bit more honest here, Scorpio. Not that you were, intentionally lying or being dishonest before. Let me clarify. That Nine of Cups, okay, if a new opportunity does come my way, here's what happiness looks like. Something I can pour myself into every day, even if it's slow, even if it's boring, things like that. The Six of Pentacles is that everyday effort, right? We continuously provide our effort, provide our intention, and with that coming into the real world every day, even in the smallest amounts, it adds up to something bigger. Then we have the Empress coming out. And I think that particularly if this is more of an intimate partner type of vibe that you're getting right now, Scorpio, there it is. The Empress is twofold. The first, with the new opportunity, they would demand no less from what I want. They would see my expectations as reasonable. The second part of that Empress, I demand no less of what I want because I see the best for myself, and therefore my expectations are reasonable. You see how fundamentally different that is from the opening, right? Whereas with the new opportunity, that's one of the most self-assured statements I've seen in a while, rather than saying emotionally, I don't know what's going on. No, that's just indecisiveness. You know very well how you feel. We just don't want to say it out loud, right? Those are two conflicting ideas. So I think when you're seeing, one second, please. Tarot card readers are people too. When you're seeing this conflict versus your emotional state versus a tangible opportunity ahead of you, I think that's where a lot of things start to fall away, and then we become more honest with ourselves. Why we were not honest or completely upfront with ourselves back here is because part of us knows we had to mute part of ourselves in order to maintain these old connections. Right. And that's just very blunt and very telling. Because again, I said that was conflict oriented. When it came to new opportunity, you're very solid in what you know over here, not claiming, right? You weren't as solid over here. It's not that you didn't know, is that part of you is realizing how much of yourself that you muted in order to maintain what was, rather than wanting what is or what could be. And that's what's changing right here and right now. So that's good. To your Ace of Wands, show us cards we need to see, please. Scorpio on this read to the Ace of Wands. Okay. And that is my burden to carry. 10 of Wands coming out. How so? The Fool. What does new beginning actually mean? Okay. And the Sun. Happiness is not a theory. I like that for you. Because when you're able to define it on your own terms, Scorpio, this is how it plays out, right? We had the burden of responsibility with that 10 of Wands. It weighs on us because if we can so clearly answer this over here, then we got to admit we weren't unclear. We just weren't saying the whole truth back over on your Ace of Cups. But with where you want to go, what you're also emotionally geared towards in the here and now is saying that the burden of responsibility is on me. If I want to be happy, I have to live in the space of happiness. If I want a new beginning, I have to live in the space of a new beginning. What does that truly mean with the opportunity I have here and now? That is cutting past a lot of the BS. Very similar to what you saw with Ace of Pentacles, but that was particularly self-expectation and how that's reflected outwards. This one now saying, I need to live in that moment instead of placating my own feelings, dimming my own light, my own energy to make everybody else around me feel comfortable and say that it's good enough. Well, what about good for me? Because once we start to ask that, we know the answer is it's better than this. Okay, last to the Ace of Swords. Shows cards we need to see, please, for Scorpio in this read. Find the Ace of Swords. Okay. Knight of Swords. We take action. No debate. We already thought about it enough. Okay. Beyond that, Knight of Swords. And that's what I mean by when a card hits the table, that's when I take, just like that. What else upon the Ace of Swords for Scorpio in this read? The Moon. Not necessarily just with the unknown, but with the unexpected. And the Five of Pentacles. Yeah. Twofold message, because the fives are cards of conflict, but even more so, I think this has a very specific intentionality given the other things I saw on the board already, right, Scorpio? Action must be taken. Now, if we went with the Five of Pentacles strategy, well, we just keep on getting left out, maybe happiness isn't for us, then it will be taken advantage of. Right. This is why we had such firm answers in the affirmative, but a very passive answer in the negative, or what I claim I don't know. If we want to take that route again and say, after all this very solid and unwavering statements that we still don't know, we're casting up to the moon. We're saying, hey, this is indecipherable to me. You better go ask somebody else. Then happiness will go with somebody else. If we say then the inverse of that, or looking at it from a different angle, that there are parts of me that I left behind, parts of me that I denied, I felt that I was not able to access because of this, and then casting that under the moon, yeah, there's going to be shadowy areas where I don't understand, that cannot be seen, but intuitively, I do have those answers. I just haven't said them out loud. And that's a different way to look at it, because that Knight of Swords then takes action upon that dissonance that you're having with yourself, rather than taking action towards, well, I got to abandon this road and go on the clearly, obviously wrong path, right? Two different ways of connection. Underneath it all, Eight of Pentacles. We know, because it's not just knowledge, that's mastery put into work. Right. We well practice and well define in our prowess every single day. We have that answer. Next, let's get a single card underneath each element. Show us the cards we need to see, please. Start again with your home element of water. Okay, so what we say would fulfill us. Ace of Wands. It's not just a statement of confusion. It's feeling that we can back it up 100%. We said that that was the right answer because it was the easy answer. It wasn't because it was the actual answer. To the Ace of Pentacles, the Sun. What will make us happy? This truth right here, that my self-expectations, my expectation of somebody who wants to be on a journey with me, friend, lover, or otherwise, that they are not low, but they're not low for a reason, because I demand higher of myself. That is how I'm going to get to where I want to be. Next, underneath the Ace of Wands, Strength, card of Leo. Good. And so that internal drive, maybe it already was within, but it means I had to shoulder a different responsibility rather than leaving it up to other people to fulfill me. Right? Rather than dimming myself down to make space for others. No, if I'm too much, you catch up. right? Happiness is not a theory for me anymore. It's a practice. If I'm too much for you, you catch up. And if you can't handle that, if I'm too much, seek less. I have my own shell, and I also have my own ability to move. The last to the Ace of Swords, Six of Cups. Okay. I'm viewing that less as a romantic connection, although that could very well be on the table right now, Scorpio. I more so view that as, because that's a long time sustained kind of energy. The promise made to self will be reflected in the outward connection with another, right? What we promise to ourselves is that we're not gonna take the quote unquote easy road and say, oh, it's this person's fault, that person's fault. Because if the common denominator between all the people I'm claiming are at fault is me, then if I eliminate myself from that equation, who are they left to be? Right? That's me trying to hold myself in the highest regard. What do we do now? Underneath it all, Queen of Cups, most loving and giving versions of the self, and also your home element of water. Again, this time saying, no, there's a lot of me to give and a lot of me that I want to see. Now, what have I been doing that wouldn't allow me to see that? This is a very much a self-accountability kind of read, Scorpio. I'm glad you're having this for yourself beginning of 2026. Let us look at, as we move towards resolution, first find the major arcana shooting across the table, we will look at that Hermit. The one that trusts their own wisdom and teachings. What is imperative to find? Start there and push forward. That's a break. Scorpio, and they're all a new read today, please. Page of Cups. And that's why I said at the beginning, I wasn't really buying it when you said you didn't have the answer. You are more than grateful to have the answers in your toolkit. You probably already knew this. It's just that the conclusions you were coming to weren't the ones that you liked the most, right? At some point, we do have to admit to ourselves, if we're saying that we're grateful for the lessons, like, thank you for what you taught me, then we also have to move in that kind of energy and that kind of modality, which means eventually moving on in some way, shape, or form. To the Empress. Empress matching up again. There we go. The love, the best of me that I would exude, I would expect back naturally. I would expect nothing less because I gave nothing less. That is very strong and affirmative energy, Scorpio. Two things that match up. To the Fool, the world. A whole new journey can start when I'm honest about it. When I let the things that cannot work out go because I do not have the time to save them, and I let the things that will work out come in because I have the time to live life with it, what new possibilities open up for me when I'm finally able to say, last period, last paragraph, last stamp, I'm done. To the Sun, Nine of Pentacles. My own self-definition of happiness will be in the most highest regard because I define it for myself, not dependent on others. To the Moon, Five of Cups. Yeah, I had a feeling something like that would come out. Another card of conflict, that one being the emotional space of sorrow, regret, and disdain, right? This is deep-rooted hurt and pain. And so I think part of the things that you're trying to eliminate right now, Scorpio, is not simply the people who quote unquote left you behind or, didn't show up on their end of the bargain, but the fact that you've repeatedly let this happen and it's undeniable as to why, right? We try to sustain something past its expiration date, and when it acted accordingly, am I going to get mad that it expired, right? I'm not saying that's self-blame or things like that, that kind of route. What I'm looking at is a Scorpio who says, no, I want to be accountable to myself here too, because there's a reason I kept up, the third time me and this person came to the same exact conclusion. Third time my partner did this. Fourth time my so-called friend didn't act like a friend. Why did I keep them? Right? This is very much a self-accountability kind of talk you're trying to have with yourself right now. To the Sun, Star. I like that. If I saw the best come out in sunlight, if I was the happiest I could have been, then that means my hopes, my dreams are fulfilled, and also by extension, worthy of pursuit, right? I don't give up on myself. In fact, I keep going. I keep pursuing because it is, at the end of the day, worth it. 2, strength. 6 of Swords. And so if I trusted myself, I said that I was able to do it, if I said that this is well in my wheelhouse to find happiness, to find meaning, to find purpose, then I just act on it. We're not making space for hypotheticals right now. I need to act on it and move accordingly. So in conclusion, to that Fool, 8 of Wands, direct communication and direct action. 10 of Wands, the burdens that we have sat with. And Judgment, are we taking in all the lessons that life is showing us right now? Kind of extended, but it's the same exact thing repeated in a different manner. Right now, you have been shown everything that you need to in regards to shallow relationships, in regards to connections that don't work, in regards to the things that you want for yourself. Now, if you have been shown all these signs, will we act upon it? Because if we don't and claim that we don't understand, we're just subjecting ourselves to the same cycle all over again. You have been shown way too much, Scorpio. Now it's time to see what we have learned. Underneath it all, 4 of Swords. A moment of rejuvenation and respite. Here we're asking, I want you to take time for yourself, Scorpio, and ask really, what was the biggest lesson in all these relationships that didn't work out, friend, family, or otherwise? How am I here, and how can I get to where I want to be? As a wrap up to the read, Scorpio, just a quick recap. You're in the state of expecting and wanting a lot better for yourself, but when you say it out loud, you can't take it back. Right? Happiness is no longer a theory. It's very much a tangible concept that you're getting closer and closer to every day. The thing is, once you start demanding more of yourself, you'll start to realize why you couldn't hold on to what was never meant to be held on to. It will become too heavy to take with you along that journey. And so what's more important, maintaining these connections for the sake of having them, or trying to find what's right for you? And I'm looking at Scorpio, it says, me first. Me first. That's what I got for you in your read today, Scorpio. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, you know. And sometimes that really is a good thing. See you around, okay? Take care.